An error occurred. Oh, there we are. Okay. So it looks like we are up and live. Give it a second. And it looks like everybody is streaming. So hi everyone, today is Wednesday, November 6th. And it is a play along. We're going to do a project called Roped In. You can see that here. And we're just trying to get our heads around everything. Hope you guys are doing well. It is unseasonably warm here in Northeast Ohio, although it's overcasted today. It's supposed to be, I thought somebody said it's supposed to be 80 this week, so looking forward to that. Anyway, so what's going on? What's happening? Well, we all know what's happening, but what's happening in the jewelry world? On Friday, we have a Zoom along that will be posted on the Q Talk Facebook page here. Oh, let's see, today's Wednesday, so I'll post it today when we're done here. A link if you guys want to join us for a Zoom along. Zoom alongs are just working at our benches if you want to jump in so that you don't have to work alone. And, you know, if you have questions about projects that you're working on or maybe projects from Virtual Labor Crafting, which ended a couple weeks ago, don't forget if you did Virtual Labor Crafting and need some extra time, you still have time to get extra viewing if you need it. And, viewing will be going on until November 10th will be your last day for viewing. So don't forget that. What else is going on? Oh, coming up, November Zoom is going to be the Layers project, which is this ring here. Lots of fun. And you can do this as a pendant or a ring. If you're doing the ring, it's going to be a two-part project, 2 sessions on, I believe it's 2 Sundays, if I remember correctly. And but if you're doing just the pendant, it'll just be the head and we'll add a veil to it. If you do the ring, we'll do the head first and then we'll add the shank onto that on the second session. You can definitely register for that on the urbanbeater.com. Again, this is the Layers project and that's coming up. The rest of the year, I know, I'm already looking at the rest of the year. There's only 2 months left of the year. And what's going on? We have Prague. If you are joining us at Metal Immersion Prague excursions, the first week of December, we did have a cancellation and we can still take you if you want to come along. It's going to be arrival December 3rd and departure December 9th. So 7 days on the ground and running around Prague and the greater Prague area to see the Christmas markets and do a lot of glass things there and just having a lot of fun. So that's, ooh, okay, so getting a little feedback. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this with the sound. Someone commented that the sound is echoing. Very strange. Okay, let's see. Let me pull this out. Okay, I don't know. Let's see if this is. Ooh. Is that any better? Hoping. Need a small adjustment there. Hoping that's gonna help a little bit. Okay. So, what else is going on? Oh, yes, we're doing a D-stash. I'm doing a D-stash on a Friday, not this Friday, but the following Friday at I think it was 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for some fun stuff, I have caps, tools, all kinds of stuff that needs to go out the door. I'm also going to put up some jewelry. I know I've had a lot of requests for the jewelry to be put up for sale. So I'll put it up on the D-stash. So hold on. Okay, let's see if I can fix this just a little bit here. All right, making an adjustment there. Okay. So let's jump into the project. All right, so again, today is Roped In. Play-along projects, if you are wondering about it, are just kits if you want to follow along and play along with me, or if you have your own materials, that's cool too. But if you get the kit, you'll get the written instructions to go with it. And today's project is a bracelet. We're making a twisted wire bracelet, and then we have all these wonderful little components to go with it. It's just a lot of fun. Okay. So we'll jump in and start making this. Let's go through what you're going to need if you want to play along. You're going to need a chasing hammer, bench block, some hand tools, chain nose, needle nose. Multi-looping pliers is going to be your friend. Your chasing hammer, hair cutters, a file of some sort is helpful, and something to twist with. So you can do a wire twister. Today I'm going to use a flex shaft, and I'll show you different ways of twisting your wire so to get this really cool look. If you're getting the kit and want the wire pre-twisted, I would be happy to do that for you. Just reach out and tell me. There's a couple of silver kits left, and there's definitely some copper kits available too. Again, you can find that on the urbanbeater.com. Okay, so for the materials, what you're going to need is 20 gauge copper wire. That's going to be all for the little twists. 6mm silver jump rings or copper. You can do this whole thing in copper if you want to, or you can do it in a combination. I decided to do a bimetal for this project. You can do it all in silver also if you want to. You're going to need some 5/16. 5/16. Yeah. I think it was 5/16. Wait. Think about this. No, 3/16 inch discs and some bally beads. By the way, again, if you got the kit, these are sterling silver, so no worries there. Some 16 gauge wire. This is going to be for your clasp, and then of course you'll need a little bit of fine silver to make the granules. Okay. So jumping in. We're going to twist the wire first. So to twist the wire, what you'll do, you can anneal this if you find twisting it by hand to be tough, okay? But I'm going to use a flex shaft, so I'm not going to need to anneal this at all. Again, with sterling silver, more than likely you'll buy this as dead soft, so you don't have to worry about that so much. So the echo has gotten worse. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to turn off my sound and turn it back on and reboot that and see what happens here. Okay, is that any better? Okay, you know what? Give me just a second. I'm going to disable this and then re-input it. Okay. Audio input. Okay. Okay, let's see. Is that any better? I just reinstalled that. Honey. Is that better? Okay. Hey, Gail, Michelle, does that sound any better? Ooh. Worse. Mm-hmm. Okay, is that better? Gail, what do you think? Okay, I think we figured it out. Sorry about that. Thanks for the input. All right, so back to the wire twisting. Now, if you got the kit, it was a very long piece of wire, but because of video constraints, I've only cut about a 1 foot section. It's nicer if you can just do it all in once, but whatever works for you. Again, it's just about twisting the wire, right? So I'm going to do mine with the flex shaft. If you don't have a flex shaft, what you can do is you can put this on a drill, okay? Or even a hand drill, anything like that. Or you could just hold it with a pair of pliers on one end, put a pencil or an awl on this other end, and start twisting it. For me, I'm going to just stick it right into the collet of my flex shaft. And we are going to, there we go, make it really nice and tight inside so it doesn't, you want to pull on that and see that it doesn't pull out, okay? Find the center. Now, I don't like doing this with a pair of round nose pliers, because if I hold this with a pair of round nose pliers, it has a tendency to snap the wire. So I'll usually use a chain nose, or you can even take out, like I said, like an awl like this and just hold it right there. See this end and this end. Let's see if I can get it all in one shot. And then we're just going to gently start this. Just like that. Hold it steady, but don't pull too hard on this. You have to give it some resistance, but not too much, because then at some point it'll snap. Because this is, as it's twisting, getting shorter, so you got to go with it, okay? So you want a pretty decent twist on this. You see how my wire got a little bit shorter because my awl is coming a little bit closer to the flex shaft. I only lost maybe about a ½ inch there, so it's not a lot. All right, so that's it. A nice, pretty tight twist. Okay, take that out. For a ruler. You're going to need a ruler too. Well, if you want it to be consistent, you want a ruler. So now we're just going to take this and we're going to cut 3/4 inch pieces. What I like to do is I like to cut one and use that as a gauge. So I'm just going to cut it off like so. And we'll just cut a piece like that. So clearly you'll cut as many as you need to make your length. So one of these is just under, one link is just under 1 inch, right? So you'll cut 2 for every length that you do. I'll cut several here because I can. I know that I need to make several links because the bracelet I made was actually quite short, so don't go by that. Okay. Okay, so from here, if your wire is really hard and you can't manipulate that, then go ahead and anneal it. But I don't need to anneal this. I am simply going to put it into my multi-looping plier, and I'm going to find the halfway point on that wire, so you can see, and I'll bend it down. Now, you'll also find that this is sort of sharp and it's a little rigid. If your hands are not strong enough to do that, then take out your pliers. There you go. You can see, done deal. So basically you're making little teardrops, right? So you'll make a bunch of these. Go ahead and make some. And by using a multi-looping plier, it keeps it a really nice, even shape. Like so. And we'll do that again. So again, you'll need 2 for every link that you're doing, okay? So here we'll move it together. And you want this to be even, because if they're not even, it's not going to solder. So you want these ends to be even. So give it a little squeeze like so. Do the same here. And I'm just sort of working them together. See, there's a tiny little gap, and I want it to be touching. So we'll work it together. So it makes a nice little teardrop, just like that. Okay. So what I would do, again, it's about consistency, right? When you're making a chain, is make a whole bunch of these, and then you'll match up the ones that look alike. I'm adjusting this just a little bit because I'm being a little fickle right now. And because I want them to have this shape as opposed to this shape. It's a little rounder. It's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. And it's okay. We all have our thing. Okay, so that's it. Let's pull out our, so I'm gonna work on a block of some sort, either a honeycomb block or maybe a soldering block or soldering board would be nice. So let's pull this out. So what you probably didn't see is the bottom of this. You see that? I put a little disc on the bottom because it gives it a nice finish. So then you don't have to worry about it so much. Again, it's that little bit of a finish that makes this nice. Okay. So for the discs, I'm going to do 2 at a time because I can. So put the disc down, and then you can basically use any solder on this. We're only going to use one kind of solder. So pick your poison. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on each one of these discs. Little bows. Yes, they do look like little. You know, it's funny that you, so Michelle says they look like little bows, and it's funny because for some reason I didn't think of that when I made this. I probably would have called it a bow tie bracelet. But when I was just making it just now, I literally was thinking to myself, oh, look, they look like little bows. Okay, so then we're going to just place it on. Did you guys see that? Let me show you. Teeny weeny little bit of solder. I use solder paste. If you're not using solder paste, you can definitely use a chip or a little piece of wire. Just put it down, right? And I'm going to put my teardrops centered to that disc. Okay, and we'll just repeat that. Again, if you're making the whole bracelet, I would production line this and just line them all up and do it at the same time. Okay. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to take a bally bead. And I'm going to put solder on the bottom of that, or you can put solder on top of your the center there, because you're going to need a little bit more solder to be able to solder the bally bead down. Okay, this is why I like paste. I'm going to just put it right on there and flip this over, put it right on top, right over that disc. You can do this if you're not comfortable doing it this way. You can go ahead and solder this, quench, pickle, and then put the bally bead on top. Or you can just do it in one shot like this. Okay. And if you'll notice in the kit, you have different bally beads, 2 different kinds. I alternated them just to make it a little bit more fun. There's a little bit of solder. You see that? Okay. And then I'm going to take some fine silver wire. We'll cut about 1/4 inch of that to make some granules. Take out a torch. So the granules would go on top. It rolled off there. Hold on. So if your wire is rolling, go ahead and flatten it before you put it on. Then it won't roll away like mine just did. Oh, I missed. Okay, I got a little bit of the bottom on there. So we'll go ahead and quench that. And you're going to have to sand that off or else this will not work. Okay, so I try to pick this up right before it gets cool so it doesn't stick, which is great. I got that one. All right, this one I'm going to have to sand off the bottom to get the solder board off of it. Again, if you have that, it's sort of, you know, it's a barrier, right, to the solder. So you need to have metal on metal. So go ahead and sand that. Like so. Okay, that's good. This one has a little bit on there, not as bad as the other one. It's really annoying when this happens, but it is what it is. Okay. So same thing here, grab a little bit, I'm dipping a little bit of solder on the bottom and I'm going to put it right on top of my ballet bead. Like so. This one fell off, we'll do it again. So, oops, it flipped over. Ah, I don't know, can you see that? Totally flipped over on me. So the solder ended up on top. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, and then this one fell over, of course. Ah. He's not playing nice, so I guess I'm gonna do this one in 2 steps then instead of 1. This one's staying nicely. Let's see if it stays when I go to solder it though, but it's no longer centered. I know, it's like watching paint dry. Okay, I could pull this off because it doesn't want to play nicely. Actually, let's see, maybe I'll put it on without the granule, then I'll put the granule on after. Okay, set the granule aside. All right, so let's solder this. Heat the whole thing. Remember to point right there. Everybody gets hot, and then point it right down. Make sure the disc gets nice and hot. He wants to fall over. Okay. Now remember, this is copper. Copper holds on to heat, so it's going to take a second to set before you pick it up and throw it into, before you quench it. Okay? So let's see what it does. Ooh, this one did it. So into the pickle it goes. Hold on here. Had something fall over. Into pickle that one goes. Let's see how'd you do. Just check it. Oh, good. All right, since this looks pretty clean, it doesn't have that much fire scale, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of solder right on top. And I'm going to go one level down because I can. And we'll just put a little bit of solder right on top. And we'll throw this cute little granule on top of that. Okay. And heat it until it solders. Done deal. Yeah, it's on. Cool. Quench it. Check it. Throw it in the pickle. Let's work on the clasp while we're pickling. Okay, so for the clasp, we'll go ahead and cut about a 2-inch piece of wire. So go ahead and file those ends or use a cut burr for those ends. Cut burrs are really great. They make easy work of this. Of course, my cut burr's over there. It's too far to go. And then take out your multi-looping plier, and we're going to make an S. So notice I'm going one way, like so, and then we're going to go the other way, like so. Okay, and I love when I do when I do an S clasp. What I really like. Now you can do this, of course, with any round nose, right? Or you can use a mandrel to do this. So for an S clasp, I always like pulling it out like this. You see that? It makes a little tiny little duckbill. I don't know why, but that always makes me happy. Do you have to do that? Answer is no. Okay. Go ahead and move it down. Again. Bend this out just a little bit more. Can you see that? It's so cute. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to do a little bit of hammering here. So you want to hammer the shoulders. That makes the S clasp rigid, because what we're doing is we're doing basically a tension type of clasp, right? So you don't want it to pull apart, so by just hammering it. Now, if you have a hard time hammering directly where you want it, you might want to consider holding it off like this, so you only hammer the part that you want to hammer instead of the whole entire thing. And notice when I'm hammering, I'm not tilting my hammer. I'm doing it straight up and down, like so. And it's about half of what it was. Okay. And notice I'm only doing maybe about half of that. So not the whole entire circle, but about half. Okay. And again, this is moved out a little bit. I'm going to move it in just a little bit more and adjust, making it nice and even, because it's gotten a little wonky. Yes, wonky, it's a technical word. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the peen side of my chasing hammer, and I'm going to just hammer just a tiny little bit in the center here. Just to get a tiny little flat surface so I can balance my bally bead, because I'm going to make a decorative S hook. Okay, so that will allow supposedly. Allow my bally bead to sit on the center a little bit more easily than it would if it's round. Okay. We'll set that aside. Grab some more fine wire because I need to make another granule for the S hook. I totally forgot. Oh, that was not fine silver. So you're wondering why I'm using fine silver? Because look, it looks like a raisin when you use sterling. So I like using, so I'm going to use a little scrap here because I can. Granules are a great way to use up your scrap. Oh, it's a very big granule that I did not want that big. Okay, got that just in time, but I'm feeling like he's a little too big. I'm gonna cut one more piece, sorry. There we go. Nice size. Missed on that one too. And it's stuck. Okay. We'll quench that. Sand this side so you can see all that. I think I took the whole board with me. Oops. Grab some sandpaper. Comes off nicely. That was a lot of solder board on there. Ugh. Do you hear that noise? I know, it's awful. I might put this on a, hold on. Eeks. I know, scary prospect putting my pliers on this, isn't it? Is it freaking you out? It's totally freaking me out. So someone had a trick recently to put flux down so it doesn't stick to your solder board. But let me say, it works for a lot of people. It doesn't. I've never been able to make that work for me, so I don't know what's up with that. Just in case you're in the mood to try it, you can put a little flux down before you try to make your granule. Okay. Most of it's gone. So did you guys see I posted the next excursion to Vietnam and Thailand for September of next year if anybody wants to join? I think we have one spot left. Maybe not, but you can put yourself on a wait list. It's 10 months away, so there's lots of time. That's also, if you go to metalimmersion.com, you'll find all those listings. Of course, there's still time to register for metal immersion in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware this year. Okay, so I'm going to put a little solder on there. Doesn't matter what kind of solder you choose for this one. So I would choose easy just because I can. It'll just make it really quick and easy. Happen a little bit faster. So put a little solder on there. Pick this up. Put that right on top. I think this is going to be a balancing act. Actually, that was sort of a bad idea. Hold on. I'm going to fuss with it first. put everything on and then balance it. How's that for an idea? There it is. Woohoo! Okay. Trick is, where will it keep balanced? Don't know, but I'll help myself. I'm gonna grab a pick. Should it move, I can put my pick right in there. There we go. I think it did it. Give it a minute to set, because remember, copper holds the heat. So it's going to take a minute to set. Oh, and it did. Woohoo! Did it do it? It did. Okay. Into the pickle that goes. So you'll just keep doing that until you have enough links, and now you know how to make the clasp. We'll pull this out of the pickle. Okay. So from here, you can brass brush it, or you can use some steel wool on this. You can also, if you want even brighter, you can stick it into a tumbler, but I'm going to throw this into some liver of sulfur, okay? But before I do that, there's another option here, if you want to go down that road, is you can hammer these a little bit, just to give it a little bit more texture, a little bit more interest. So we'll hammer that just a little tiny bit. I don't like hammering everything. I like a little bit of hammering. Again, it gives it a little bit of a different texture and a slightly different look, and just makes it look, again, more interesting to me. Anyway, so this one's slightly off. We're gonna just bend it over a little bit. Okay, I know, no one's ever gonna notice. All right. Hold on a second. I actually soldered these. I know. Who knew? Wait, did I solder these? Oh, I have an open one. Okay. So I'm adding on to my bracelet here. Don't forget to, oh, you know what? I forgot to liver sulfur that. So I'll liver sulfur that first. Don't forget to keep your pattern alternating. So liver sulfur, a little warm water, a little bit of liver sulfur goes a long ways. Let's see. I warmed this up before we started, so yes, it'll make your house stinky, but it is what it is. I like to use plastic tweezers when I use my liver of sulfur. That way the metal doesn't contribute to the patina. It might make it funky colors. Give that a good rinse. You can see it's completely patinaed. Yep. While I'm at it, I'm going to pull the clasp out also. And I'll throw that in too. So why liver of sulfur and not black max? This is sort of a personal preference. Okay, so liver of sulfur I really like using with copper, but black max or jacks and that kind of thing I like to use with my sterling, because it gives a much more intense color, right, on the silver, whereas liver sulfur on silver is a little dull. It's not as intense as I like it. So I'll do that. I'm gonna close that up just to arrest the smell. Yep, every time I use liver sulfur, I make an announcement to the room that, you know, it wasn't me with a personal problem. Okay, so here we go. Give it a little bit of a brass brush. You know what? Yeah, there you go. It's coming back. So nice. Okay, I know. I'm going to do myself a favor here. I just did the nails last night. Just for this. And let's not ruin them. Let's put on some gloves. By the way, you can find all these tools on the urbanbeater.com, especially these gloves that will save your manicure and your hands. And you know what's nice about these super grip gloves is it holds on to things so that you can have a good grip on things, which is great. Like this. Again, you can totally use steel wool here instead of a brass brush. Just remember, if you use steel wool, keep it away from your pickle. If you need to resolder, make sure you rinse this really well if you have steel wool on there, and put it back into, before you put it back into the pickle, okay? Because it's steel. It's a ferrous metal. It does not belong in your pickle. There's that. There's that. Let's do this guy. Actually, I don't need to do this guy because I already have. Okay. I already have a clasp on here. I don't need to do it. So then you'll take out 2 pairs of pliers, chain nose, preferred, and we're going to open and close these. And just start linking them up until you get your length out of it. Just remember to keep alternating them. And notice how I have it back to back. Okay? So back to back so that when you have it together, like so, they're facing front. Do that again. When you're opening and closing jump rings, remember to twist instead of prying them apart. Like so. Okay, and always end with, well, you're going to need to end with the large 8mm jump ring. That's going to be your catch. Since I soldered that, I don't want to cut it open. That's why I did what I did. There we go. Let's see what I ended up with. So here we are, just past 7 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 links, 18 pieces. A little long for me, but I knew that going into it. And that's it. So then you have your clasp, as you can see from the back. Okay, so you can link onto either side, and that will go, make sure I did that right. Just like that. So if you have questions and you ordered a kit, just reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, so we are simulcasting today on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So you can catch me there. That's it. There we are. If you have an Amazon Prime account, do follow me on Twitch. That's how we get paid. I know, very little, but hey, every little bit counts, right? So any questions there? I think that's it, honey. You got anything for me? Did we remember everything? Don't forget the Zoom. The Zoom project this month is the Layers project. You can still get a kit. You can find that on theurbanbeater.com. We have a Zoom along on Friday starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's open to everyone. You can join. You'll find the link on the Q Talk Facebook page. And then the D-Stash is next Friday. I'm going to do it in the evening because it's more fun with a cocktail. Not that I won't be drinking tonight. But and then we're off to Prague. I don't know if I'm going to post another play along before the end of the year. Maybe. I'll have to think about it. But apparently we have a question, so go ahead, honey. Oh, so the question is, do you solder the jump rings? You can if you want to. Actually, let me show you how to do that really quick before we go. It'll just make real quick work of it. Okay, let me find a jump ring that needs to be soldered. Okay. So soldering the jump ring is pretty straightforward. Of course, you'll do the soldering before I did all this finishing. No big deal for me, but that's what you want to do in the sequence of things. So here we have a jump ring. Let's find a... Okay. So I'm just going to hold it like that. This is where jump rings and solder paste is the best. If you ever want to solder these jump rings, solder paste just makes life so much easier. But I always put my join at 12 o'clock. By the way, if you don't like soldering jump rings, use heavier gauge jump rings. Then you don't have to worry about it so much falling apart, right? So like a 20 gauge is so not gonna work. You're going to have to solder it. But 18 gauge, not so much. 16 gauge, definitely don't need to. Okay, so notice I have a little tiny bit of solder right there. And we're just gonna hold it like this, right at the blue tip. Heat it, whoop, until it's in. Done deal. That's all. That's all she wrote. Oh, no, it's not. It's on the back side. A little more. There it is. And it'll go right into the, join. Done. Okay, what happened? There we go. Did you see that? It's upside down. I did that on, and I just soldered that. So I'm gonna have to cut it and turn it around. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Thanks for the questions. Again, if you have any questions and you order the kit, do reach out to me. If not, I will see everyone on Friday. It'll be fun, and hopefully I'll see you again next month. There will be a Zoom along in December after the Prague trip. But as far as a project, I don't know. I can't decide. Things are getting really crazy busy. So we're going to go with that. Maybe take a little bit of time off for ourselves. Okay? Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for continuing to like and share my posts. Really appreciate it. Everyone have a